It is truly insane how many records the new Backrooms movie is already breaking at the box office. Let me explain. Before getting into all the individual records the movie is breaking, we gotta just start with the numbers because the Backrooms is now on pace to make 85 to 88 million dollars in its domestic opening weekend alone. And as you can see here, its budget was only $10 million. Does mean yes, this is going to be the #1 movie in the world on its opening weekend, making Kane Parsons, the director of the film, who's only 20 years old, the youngest director ever to have a #1 film in its opening weekend, which is absolutely insane. But between him having this movie that opened up to an insane amount of money at the box office, and then we have Obsession made by another like young director, he's 26 years old, and that movie's just been making more and more money every single weekend. This is a great sign for the future of Hollywood. The studio behind this movie, A24, also has to be very happy about this because yes, this movie is already the biggest opening weekend for A24 as a studio in their entire history. Like Marty Supreme that they had last year cost $70 million to make and did not make this much. But yes, as you can see in this headline, it didn't just become the best opening weekend for an A24 film, it tripled the previous record for the studio, which is absolutely insane. I can guarantee they're bringing back Kane Parsons and making a sequel as soon as possible. He's already been talking about it. Now, yes, I will get back to official records in a second, but I also just need to highlight the fact that, yeah, the Backrooms movie is going to pass The Mandalorian and Grogu for how much money these films both made in their opening weekend in the United States. Now, I'm not sure if this is just great news for the Backrooms or really terrible news for Star Wars, a franchise that used to open up to multi-$100 million weekends. And I know The Mandalorian and Grogu was a smaller scale project, but it still cost $150 million more than the Backrooms. And I think this shows that people truly are craving some bold and original ideas in Hollywood. Like, I understand the Backrooms isn't like 100% original. There's lots of internet lore about it over the years. Kane Parsons has made a ton of different short films based on it, but it is still a very original concept. And the movie, whether you like it or not for the decisions it makes, is a very bold movie. That gets people talking and excited to go see a film, whether they end up loving it or hating it. There's at least something here. There's something interesting going on. With The Mandalorian and Grogu, they just played it so incredibly safe that most people like me are just incredibly bored by the film. And even the people that really like it are like, yeah, it's just a fun time, nothing special, nothing memorable happened in it. Now, we've talked a lot about the opening weekend itself, but getting into more specifics, like the opening day on the Friday the movie came out, it made $38 million domestically, which yes, was the 4th highest for a horror film of all time. That is truly insane. Think of all the iconic horror films out there, all the different reboots and sequels to beloved properties out there. Nope, Backrooms comes in and is just immediately a top 5 horror film in a box office sense, of course, because yes, as its opening weekend alone stands, it will finish top 5 at least. We have to see exactly where the numbers land to see where it finishes all time. And we got to tie this into the greater movie industry, and because I'm me, of course, we got to tie it into superheroes in particular. But how glad do you think DC and James Gunn are right now that they greenlit the Clayface film that they have coming out this October, a smaller budget horror film? I think DC is being very smart, learning from smaller studios like Neon and A24. Like, hey, you don't have to throw $150 to $300 million at a project and pray that it makes $1 billion. You can make a cheaper movie and just hope it's a hit, especially in the horror world. Like I mentioned, Obsession's already made well over 100 times its budget. Backrooms is going crazy. Let me know how much money you think the Backrooms is going to make by the end of its box office run in the comments down below. If you want to see my review of the movie, click the video above my head right now, and thank you so much for watching.